Hi everyone, it's Sister Jenna from America Meditating Radio. I hope you've been enjoying Wiseish, which you can get live on Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube from 8:30 a.m. to 8:45. But you can also get it on demand 24/7. It's going to be your power boost for the morning. It's your daily dose for the soul. It's just going to encourage you to make the day that much more valuable. So join us. Looking forward to seeing you. Om Shanti. The time that we choose to be aware doesn't necessarily require me to just sit and meditate. But even while I walk and move around, I can be in a meditative awareness, which is awareness of the soul, the original, eternal, imperishable being of light. For a little while, I'd like to invite you to be present, to be here, and to be now. Allow your mind to settle in the moment, to relax. This meditation is about awareness. It's about becoming aware of your original and eternal self. It's about connecting to your truth. Let go of your name. And observe yourself feeling nameless. Let go of your gender to discontinue thinking you're a man or a woman. Let it go and observe how you would feel walking around without a gender. Let go of the role that you play and let go of the titles that you own. Observe how you're feeling as you are gradually letting go. Let go of your religion and put it aside just for now. And let go of your nationality and even the language that you're accustomed to. Imagine you have no name, gender, role, title, religion, nationality, or even a language. Ask yourself, how do you feel at this moment? And in this feeling, who would think of you and who would you think of? The Supreme Soul would think of you, and you, the liberated soul, would think of the Supreme. In this state of absolute freedom, I am truly who I am. A free, peaceful, pure, immortal, and eternal soul. Allow yourself to just be absorbed in this awareness. At this time. Hi everyone, Om Shanti. Welcome to your spiritual vaccine hour. I'm your sister in service, Sister Jenna. Hope you're having a good day today. I tried to find a window to gain an experience or an emotion that I wanted or I thought I wanted to be in, and I just couldn't find the space. I don't know what your day was like today, and I sat with Antonia, and she came, and on her desk there was no room for her to set up shop. Everything was just all over the place because I'm sorting out a lot of paperwork and things. And I sat there with her and I was saying, I don't know, I'm not accustomed to not doing anything. And yet, at the same token, since she's been here, I've been doing something. And I thought to myself, what's your definition of being engaged in doing something, Jen? So much has changed, you know? So much has changed. I guess for me, it's always like a people person thing, in service in a different way. And even that's shifting, which I appreciate. And I want to give a big love and appreciation to Sijan and Indu, who came over today and were absolutely delightful in helping out and making things look a whole lot better than they were. And thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed your pakoras. Antonia, you enjoyed your pakoras today? Antonia, did you like your pakoras?
Yeah, delicious.
Delicious pakoras. Yeah, between she and Sister Gita. I don't know how much they hide to take home or to stash. But I love making pakoras. Pakoras, cheese pancake, and one of my other great dishes is halva, which I really don't make much anymore. It's way too sweet, too much sugar. But cheese pancakes, halva, Chinese fried rice. What else is a good dish, Santosh, should I make? I'm not a good pasta maker. I mean, I don't like pasta very much, but when I do make pasta, I think Santosh really loves the pasta. He loves that pasta. And so anyway, just cooking is a delight for me when I get a chance. As I was sitting here, I was smelling these beautiful roses. So Bonnie Meyer is in my heart. Every day I come to sit here and I can smell the rose and the fragrance. I mean, you can smell the fragrance in the room. It's coming from one specific place, but when you walk in the room, you can smell the fragrance. That's how we should be as spirits, as souls. That wherever we go, we carry the fragrance of our spirituality, our purity, our love, our kindness, our sweetness. You know, some people carry the fragrance of a lot of ego, a lot of anger, a lot of stress. And some people are super, super stress mongers. They love to be stressed out. And in being stressed out, I think it sometimes gives them a sense of adrenaline rush. And for me, stress, the big factor of stress is when your emotions come into play and they begin to interfere with the natural energy and nature of the soul being peaceful. And imagine every time you have a thought that goes against the natural nature of peace, how much pressure you're putting on the soul. And I've seen that for myself. It's not that I can't do anything. I can do a lot of things. But if my feelings get hurt or disturbed, it's taken so much from me. It just takes so much energy from you. And that's why we need to focus on what is important. I had a wonderful interview today with Doug Van Rieren. Antonia, how do you pronounce the last name? It's like Vermeeren. He's the producer and director of How You Become Your Thoughts. And I'm hoping that we will continue to have a beautiful relationship with Doug. He's doing some great work. So listen out for that show on America Meditating Radio. How You Become Your Thoughts. Or how your thoughts make you become. It's just very, very powerful. You'll see it. It'll come up soon. Within a week, it should be available on air. So today we're talking about stress. And do we create stress? Is stress a choice? How do we handle stress? Is anyone stressed out during this pandemic? And is anything going to ever open up again? I just don't know. All I know is this is a fantastic time to be loving, honest, humble, clean, forgive. It's a good time to forgive. It's a good time to make bygones be bygones. It's a good time to fess up with your indiscretions. If you've not been really the one that's been playing the cards right, it's a good time to let people know what you've been up to really establish really good, solid relationships. There's some people that you could meet in a week and you feel very close to them. And there's some people that you might know for 5 or 10 years and you still can't feel a close connection to them. Thoughts. Always has to do with thoughts. One person can be okay in the relationship, but sometimes the other person isn't always in that same place of care. And that's also okay. That's not even a problem. That's all a part of life. So let's go right into the whole thing of stress. Do we actually choose it? Or is it just something that we have to get used to? Or do we just find ways on how to not live a stressful life? Many times when people ask me to do programs on stress, I'll say, I'm sorry, I'm not the best person. When it comes on to stress, again, if my thoughts aren't really feeling good, then there's stress. It's not about me being able to juggle 100 a million things. I can juggle 100 things. And I can do it very peacefully, very happily, very easily. But if something disturbed my spirit, which might not necessarily have to even do with an assignment, a project, a situation, if something disturbs my spirit, it's like just to wash the dishes feel like a hard thing for me to do. I've seen folks, you ask them to just wash dishes, it's like, I don't want to. A simple thing as dishes, to cut vegetables, to do this, simple things. What's going on in your thoughts? Again, what do I need to do to get out of that track of thinking? That could be creating so much stress on the body and the mind. Let's take a look. As we go into the slideshow today, get your pen and your paper and jot down a few of these things, because I think you're going to appreciate it. Let's look at negative effects of long-term thinking, okay? Let's just start from there. Mental and emotional health is an important factor nowadays, and we have now realized that the suicide hotlines are the most busiest they've ever been. We are also aware that there are a lot of losses in the lives of people. So the uncertainty factor is huge. And so the effects of stress over a long period of time, mentally and emotionally, takes a toll on any soul. Impaired memory, cognitive ability. Sometimes you're just not clear. I'm looking at the table over there with all the paperwork, and you know what my heart wants to do? Throw everything away. Who cares? But it's like I have to go through each thing at a time. And as I go through each paper at a time, I go, oh, I need that. Oh, no, I have to. Then I don't know where to put it. Anyway, you can also end up to be a very irritable person. You're just irritated about everything and every little thing bothers you. Long-term factor of stress. But one of the biggest pains or suffering of somebody going through a long-term effect of stress is depression. Because they're not being themselves. Maybe they're trying to be something everybody else wants them to be, or maybe they're not able to find the strength to be who they want to be for other people. Or maybe it could just be desires, expectations, or just being stuck in a past that's not important. I don't need to try to relive my past. What energy tries to tell me is to be present. Energy says, take me out of the past, I'm done. And don't try to give me any big expectations of what I need to be when you won't even allow me to just love what I have in the moment. It can create a very deep sense of depression. So what are some of the physical ramifications of stress? Headaches, susceptibility to infections, obesity or eating disorders. Either you're gaining way too much weight or you're losing. This is a good one, right, Antonia? Losing weight. This would be a good one, right? Yeah, we all want to lose some weight. And Santosh says, I shouldn't lose any more weight. Should you lose some weight? You should lose some weight. No? You don't? Okay, so whether you want to gain weight or lose weight, it's a sign if it's happening without you making the effort. If you're gaining weight really without any effort, you should check that out. Digestive problems, sometimes we have ulcers, upset stomachs, stuff that's not feeling so good. Joint pain. This has been my sign sometimes of a little bit of stress, where my back aches, my shoulder aches. Sister Gita, you have any joint pains? You have any pains? Yeah. She had a rough day today. Poor little baby. She just has sometimes, some days, she just can't get out of that thought. Yeah. And in a very interesting way, everyone, she clings on more to Baba than ever. Sometimes I almost feel like she's strategizing her stuff to cling more to Baba. Sometimes some of us do stuff like that unconsciously, But anyway, sometimes heart disease comes, increase in the risk of stroke can happen if I allow the stress to continue over and over again. Now, symptoms of stress are important to recognize. Check your feelings. Are you afraid of anything? Write it down. What are you afraid of? Second, anxiety. Are you trying to speed up too much to go ahead of yourself? Are you having a lot of thoughts about what should happen, what might happen, what could happen, what didn't happen, what had happened? That's what anxiety does. You're neither here, you're neither there. You're just a mess. Okay, again, irritability, frustration. When I get like that, I know I'm stressed. Because I know there's something in my thinking that I want something that I'm not achieving. And it gets me so frustrated. And the worst thing you could find yourself doing is trying to blame someone for your frustration. And there's nobody to be blamed but yourself. And again, as I mentioned, the feeling of sadness. But deep sadness would be depression. You just don't feel motivated to do anything at all. Anything. What was it the other day, Santosh? I got up and I just said, I feel like doing nothing today. And of course, Santosh is like, oh, that's nice. Leah, let's not do anything today. And I just said, huh? It's so rare it happens, he says. I just says, I feel like doing nothing today. Anyway, even if they're rare days, Santosh, you're amazing. Isn't Santosh amazing, everyone? Send him your unlimited blessings and just unlimited love. He is just on the go. And I might not say this enough, he's got the nicest nature, just the sweetest human being, just the sweetest human being. All right, so symptoms of stress. Check your thoughts out. Do you find that you have difficulty concentrating, Santosh? Okay, hands up. Um, Everyone's laughing in the studio, just FYI. So do you find that you have difficulty concentrating? Second one, self-criticism. Who's hard on themselves? Santosh goes, nope, not me. Okay, you used to be, but I broke you out of that one. Stop being a wimp, I would tell him. Get up, get going. He goes, yeah. Here's a big one, everyone. When you're stressed, forgetfulness. Anyone here is very forgetful? Sister Geeta and Santosh raise their hands. Wonderful. All right, anyone having difficulty making decisions? Sister Geeta and Santosh, raise your hands. Everyone, I will make a decision like that. Snap, let's go, do it. Santosh is like this, he has this behavior. Let me think. And then Antonia would be in the office or something. Antonia just sits there. She goes, Santosh, could you land the plane, please? We have to move on. So, again, did you ever imagine that a sign of stress is that you have a difficulty in making a decision? And I want you to think about that one big time. All right. So, of course, physical symptoms, muscle tensions, headaches, difficulty sleeping, fatigue, digestive problems, as I mentioned earlier. And you have to check your behaviors too, like, are they changing? Changing in your appetite. I have noticed for myself, Antonia's cracking up, and it's like a 5 or 10 second delay, so she's getting the jokes after. But change in appetite. I found that for myself sometimes when something's not going right for me, I'll go towards sweets. I don't know if anybody has ever done that. The other thing is stuttering. Sometimes I'm so stressed, I can't get my words out clear. I'm actually slurring a little bit. There's just too much going on around me. Snapping at others, that also happens. You're a little bit sharp. You know, you just don't have the tolerance or the patience to be able to accommodate their stuff. Okay. All right, so let's take a look at our exercise for today that we can possibly do. And I really would like to invite you, get a pen and a paper. I'll give you a few minutes because here I want you to really jot this down. And if Santosh could play some nice instrumental music. And I want you to take maybe a good 5 minutes to just think about these questions for yourself. Think of a situation when you became stressed. You were stressed out or stressful. And what I'd like you to do is to write down the following 5 answers to these 5 questions. You ready? All right. When you were in that situation, when you became stressed, you know, that tension, what was the initial feeling? So what was the initial feeling? And Santosh, are you playing some soft music? Oh, good, good, thank you. So I'd like you to think about that for a little bit. When's the last time you felt that you were stressed? What was the initial feeling? For me, I felt like I had hit a wall, like I couldn't go any further. That's how I felt. The second question is, what were your thoughts? What were your thoughts when the situation you found yourself in had you move away from your peace. And now number 3. What were the physical sensations? Do you remember what those were? I think for me it feels like heat, a little bit like just kind of heated, right? I don't know how, have you felt that way? Like the physical sensation, like everything in my system is getting a little inflamed. Yeah, like it's getting inflamed. Like there's a kind of a heat running through my system. And it's going nowhere. It's like a balloon. You blow it up and you... Okay. Everyone's okay? Give me your thumbs up. If you need some more time, if I'm going too fast, let me know. Question number 4. What was your behavior? Were you less than virtuous? Are you one of those people who tend to be, you can be stressed out, but you're very condescending in the way you respond to people? Like, yes, how can I help you? You know, those kinds of folks who do like that. So what was your behavior? And last but not least, what was the outcome as a result? So you thought of a situation when you became stressed. So what was the initial feeling and what were those thoughts? Could you feel a physical sensation? And did your behavior change from what it was accustomed to being? And what resulted in it? What was the outcome? So take your time, no rush. If you're not able to find all the answers right now, then please go back to it after the program. Have you noticed that in these 5 questions, everything had to do with a thought? And the way that you were dealing with the situation? It had to do with a thought, and it had to do with the way you were responding to the situation. That determined if you were stressed out because of the situation or you were not. Always remember this, my friends. Everything boils down to the way you think. So if we want to let go of stress, for example, which one of these would you say is the most important for you to transform? So if you do want to let go of stress, which one of these particular factors do you believe is the most important one that you need to transform? Hard one, right? It's like almost all of them. Okay. Let's go on to another exercise for the evening. Or if you'd like to talk a little bit, I'm open. Or if you'd like to pause for a little bit, I don't mind. We can go back one more time. If you want to let go of stress, which one of these particular areas do you think is the most important for you to change? And again, I'll give you a few minutes. I might be breezing through them a little bit, but these are really big questions for the self. What I like about YouTube is that you could always go back and pause. All right, so let's move forward. What if I asked you to choose a situation that often triggers stress for you? Right? So think of a situation that often triggers stress for you. For example, mine is, where did Sister Gita put the keys? Especially when I have to go somewhere. Where are those keys? Now we have another door we can't find the keys that we need the keys for. What is the negative thought that is at the root of that stress for you? And how could you transform that thought to minimize the stress? My negative thought is, Jiminy Cricket, as Akshay would say, this is enough. Just leave the keys where I leave them. Okay? And despite however often I might say that, them their keys, they disappear over and over again. And whenever we need keys, you know what Santosh and Antonia will say? Oh, Sister Gita will find it. And sure enough, she comes up with those keys every single time. And yet I get stressed. So how could I transform that thought to minimize my stress? I should adapt what Santosh and Antonia have adapted. Oh, don't worry, she'll find those keys. She always does. But at the time when I'm going through the frustration, I don't remember that thought. For some reason, that thought slips me like falling on a banana peel. Like, boop, out the door. You know? And then Santosh or Antonia or someone will come around the corner and they'll say, Sister Gita will find it. Don't worry, Sister Jenna. It's just that you won't get it right now. So is there a situation that is happening in your life that continues to trigger your stress? What is it? What's that same thought that you keep feeding, which confirms the manifestation of what you're going through? Because you know you do become what you think, and you do manifest what you keep thinking. So there must be a way that you can transform that thought to minimize the way you're responding to it. So nurture the beauty within. And within each of us there is an abundance of love. There's an abundance of peace. There's an abundance of joy. There's also an abundance of real wisdom. Can you imagine? In each and every one of us. It is just that on our journey we've become disconnected from these qualities. We've began experiencing and adapting to the negative experiences more than the original innate strengths that we are. It's everyone's disease. You focus on something negative that happened 20 years ago, and 20 years ago something great happened to you too, but you don't remember that. You remember the negative, right? Yeah. So when our thoughts are based on these qualities, we will remain calm, stable, and we can maintain our power. Every time you lose it, you lose power. And when you maintain your dignity and your peace, you're not only sustaining your spiritual power, but you're also accumulating. So tools for a stress-free living, okay? Are you willing to nurture the beauty within you? Practice it. If you don't practice to nurture the beauty within you, who's going to do it? Who's going to be able to really take care of you at a deeper level? It's important that we accept our feelings. A lot of us, especially on the cultural level, and Asian cultures in particular, it's normal to suppress what we're feeling, what we're honestly feeling. And we do it because maybe we're trying to be the best for ourselves and others, but the price that we pay is huge. So, here's another means of really getting to a place of stress-free living. Accept what you're feeling, but you do have to practice it. You do have to practice it. Asking what is stress trying to tell you is a good thing. What is this stress trying to say to me? What do I need to let go of? What is it that I'm feeling powerless about? I usually check that particular area. And what I've realized for me, and I talk about this a lot, it's your attachment. Not your attachment to a person or a thing, but it's the energy of attachment that's sitting in the personality. And so if the relationship isn't working, you're going to respond to the relationship from the energy of attachment because it's not working. So you want it to work. But what the soul really needs to do is to respond to that energy with love. But again, like I told you, 20 years ago, maybe something happened to you and you remember that, but you don't remember a loving experience that happened 20 years ago. So sometimes the energy of love takes much longer to find its way home, especially at a time of need. So what comes out first is the energy of attachment, which feeds the energy of stress. So asking what is stress trying to tell me is an important practice. So we invite you to try that over and over again, until it gets comfortable for you. So, big one. Are you ready to live in the moment? Are you ready to be absolutely present? Let's try it right now. Where are you? Who are you with? What are you with? What is this moment meaning to you? Don't go in your past. Don't go in your future. Just be here. Living in this moment. Practice. Very important. Reduce stress by not creating stress for others. How many of you have the uncanny ability of stressing people out? Just by living your life, you stress people out. How many of you know somebody who's well, nobody can stress you out. You stress yourself out. But how many of you are living with somebody who's just on a completely different track than you are? And as a result of that, you are finding yourself in a stressful situation just because the energy around you is not in alignment with who you are. And yet, that energy around you is your invitation. There must be a reason why that energy is in your life. So what is it teaching you? What is it asking from you? Where is it taking you? So, reduce stress by not creating stress for others. It's a big practice. Huge practice. I hope I'm not stressing anybody out. Santosh, do I stress you out? Turmeric, do I stress you out? Good. Compassion for the self is essential. The more you practice having compassion and care for the self, then you start to feel a lot less tense because you're taking care of yourself and you're looking out for yourself. It's a huge practice. Is everyone enjoying it so far? Thumbs up. Okay, can everyone relate? There was a time when stress was like hustling and going on the 495, dealing with traffic and, running into meetings late. And right now the main stress is hopping on and off of Zoom meetings. And maybe the kids at home asking a lot from you. Or maybe, your spouse asking a lot from you. the stress of cleaning up a closet and not being able to finish it in time. You know, there are different levels of stress now, but it has to do with how you're responding to it. So, of course, using meditation to observe and understand the self, to nurture the beauty within you, is the greatest practice that you can ever have. And of course, that's what we want each and every one of you to do, to incorporate the awareness of sitting behind your eye in soul consciousness, and to remember Baba, the Supreme Being, the lover of, really the lover of all souls, the light for all souls. Biggest thing. So, I hope you enjoyed that presentation today, which basically took us on the journey of how we are dealing with our stress factor and what we can do to respond to stress. And it's important to ask the right questions. I really believe that. So why don't we go into a little meditation now to settle into what we just experienced. And it could just be just gentle music, and we'll put on just some gentle music and some beautiful scenic views for you. And all I'm asking you to do, go behind your eyes and breathe deeply. And as Santosh plays the music now, every so often I'll just share a little commentary to guide you through this moment that you're in charge of. Breathe deeply. And keep taking some deep breaths until you feel settled. How is the soul feeling inside? Are you calm and relaxed, or feeling a little disconnected? Which one? Take a breath again. Breathe deeply. And just start right here, right now in this moment. Allow the thought inside of yourself to remind you that I, the living soul, am constant, complete, caring, I, the living soul, am constant, complete, and I'm caring. And my deepest nature is of peace. I am peaceful. And I'm stable. Just hold that moment. The longer that I hold on to this silence and this stillness, the more calm and centered I become. It's interesting because it's just in the practice of silence and stillness that answers emerge automatically. It seems so scattered begin to fall into place. Relationship, health, finance, and more than anything else, my thoughts. Just take this moment and just be. Just be.
Oh, go from your head into your heart and soften up with all your love. For you were made from the same thing as all the planets and all the stars and the mountains and all the trees and the flowers and the beautiful bumblebees. Oh, pollinate this world with all your love and see how love expands with love. For you planets and all the stars, and the mountains and all the trees, and the flowers and the beautiful bumblebees. Oh, I know this world can be heaven's harmony. Let's make love with each other. Let's love humanity. Let's share our hearts and our holy souls. For you were made from the same thing as all the planets and the stars, and the mountains and all the trees, and the flowers and the beautiful bumblebees.
Love that song by Paul Luftenegger. So sweet. Nice visuals too, Santosh. If anyone was stressed in today's program, I'm sure they're now stress-free. Very nice program. We have to choose to take charge of our thoughts and reduce the intensity of the stress factor of always being on this adrenaline rush. I used to now remember why I loved racing so much, because it was always an adrenaline rush, you know. And now that Baba has given me SUVs, it's like 10 miles an hour. It's like a whole different personality. And so change will occur, you know, when you change the way that you're thinking. Things will change for you. Relationships will change, your environment will change. The way you just feel and take care of yourself will change. Change is good. Either we'll be forced to change, like how we're seeing what's going on in the country, or we'll just change by choice. So stress is a choice, change is a choice. Being happy, you can choose it, but it's your natural nature. Being peaceful, you can choose it, it is your natural nature. I would say you can remember, look, who I am is peace. Who I am is happiness. I don't have to run after happiness. I am happy. All right, so I don't know if anyone had any thoughts. Any thoughts I'd like to share? Thanks for all the thumbs up, everyone. Yeah, it was a peaceful session tonight, wasn't it? Yeah, sometimes we need some of those. One of the things I've been kind of feeling drawn to do, and if you all are okay with it, we can try it tomorrow. I don't know what the topic is tomorrow. But I just want us to sit, maybe for 5 minutes, just in silence. Just sharing love through our eyes with each other. And generating this natural energy of peace. Just been feeling that a lot. Sometimes because we're on air and we're on camera, it's like, I feel like I have to keep talking, but sometimes I actually just feel like just sitting here with you, and we're all together in our living rooms or in the kitchen, you know, or in the foyer or outside on the patio, or maybe driving in the car or jogging or going for a bike ride, or maybe just cooking, you know, cooking and listening to the sessions. But sometimes we might just need a little bit of just knowing that collectively we're together in silence and allowing the vibrations of peace to flow through our eyes with each other. So if you're okay with it, I'm definitely going to be okay with it. So welcome to everyone. Asmita, Durga, let's hear what Akshay is going to say today, everyone. Stress slows down your whole body and blurs your intellect. It has no order and often changes your perspective. I tell you, whoever gave birth to Akshay, lots of blessings, Durga. Wonderful point, Akshay. So Diraj, welcome. Wendy, Louise, Elizabeth, Kailesh, missing you. Miss Rue, Miracle Mary, Indu, so glad to have had you. And Mukta, good to have you. Lucienne, thanks for joining in. Wendy from Trinidad and Tobago, glad to have you. Nice to have you, Trinidad and Tobago. Ranju, nice to have you. Praveen, always good. Shobha, Erica, Nagrashri, Zora, Om Shanti. Om Shanti, Om Shanti. If I've missed you, it's not intentional. BK Julene, nice to have you. Welcome, welcome. So number 2 would be the one that you would get rid of in your stress factor. Huh? It's interesting when you look at it from that perspective, right? That there's so much of us that we can still let go of and we still hold on to it, you know. Hey Nicole, Om Shanti, nice to have you. All right, silence is great. I appreciate the collective positive energy. Me too, me too. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us, giving each of you a rose. Wait, let me take one out. So on behalf of Bonnie Meyer, come on everyone, you can take your rose. I'm giving each of you a rose. So you can smell it, feel it, and take this rose from Baba to you today to be stress less and to always accept Baba loves you. You just have to feel that you're worthy enough to be loved by Baba. All right. Have a lovely evening. Om Shanti. Good night.